Namaste and welcome back to Waking Up with Mindful Serenity. We're going to continue with answering questions from the jar. I know I have a few left in here, not sure how many. And we will begin. I will pull a question out, have a brief look at it. Take a deep breath. My watch tucked in. Set the timer here. I don't know if it'll let me do time. Okay, there we go. So I'm setting it for 10 minutes. And the question I received was, I just can't find my soulmate. I want to know why life is doing this. I can't find my soulmate. I want to know why life is doing this. So let's look at that. We have someone who's experiencing probably being alone, thinking that they need another individual in their lives to come in and fulfill them and make their lives happy and full. And that person they are deeming as their soulmate. And because they don't have it, they're asking a question about why me? Why is life doing this to me? Why can't I find my soulmate? And so many people don't have their soulmate. So I see two actual questions in there to discuss rather than just one. And the first one is, why can I find my soulmate? So I like to explore this idea of soulmate and this idea of finding one that so many of us buy into. And we buy into it for all kinds of reasons. You know, our society really romanticizes the connection, the intimate relationship connection, or what the Course would refer to as the special relationship. One special individual who will fulfill us, will be our yin to our yang, or our yang to our yin, and they will make our lives complete. So we're saying that our lives are not complete as of now if we don't have a soulmate. We are missing something. We cannot be fulfilled without that soulmate, that other individual. So we use the term soulmate, which is a mate that connects us soul to soul, as if the soul is somehow unfulfilled and needs another soul to be fulfilled. So we are separating our souls, my soul and my body, your soul and your body, and if we connect, we will be soulmates. If we can manage to make each other happy by filling each other in and, not triggering those samskaras that are in each of us. So we have to remember that every individual person, the so-called individual person, the separate psyche, which is a self-concept we developed and created based on all the things we've learned over life, all the things we stuffed and stored about life, our preferences, our so-called dislikes, our aversions. So we have these samskaras, or these impressions within us that we do not want triggered. We want the good ones triggered so that they come up and we open up and we experience love and joy and peace and all those good things in life. And we don't want the bad ones triggered. The so-called bad ones triggered, those memories we've stuffed and stored that we don't want to relive, the emotional energy of which we do not want to relive, our dislikes. So we want someone out there to come in and trigger our likes so that we open up to the flow of love. We want someone out there to come into our experience of living that doesn't trigger the things we do not want to re-experience. So we're setting these very high expectations on another individual. They have to be a certain way. They have to match my psyche a certain way. These ideas of who I think I am, they have to somehow match so this doesn't get triggered in a negative way, it gets triggered in a positive way. And so it's a very, specific set of details that we're looking for when we go out looking for these soulmates, as someone that makes us feel good. So we're thinking the other individuals make us feel good. We are not whole without them. We do not like the experience of being alone. It allows all these things to come up that we don't want to come up. It stops us from experiencing the pleasure. So instead of this grasping and clinging, we want people to grasp and cling to as much as we want things to grasp and cling to make us feel better inside. And if we don't have someone right there, we feel uncomfortable in our aloneness. And we think we need to counteract that with another individual coming into our life and acting as our soulmate. I personally don't believe in soulmates. I believe your soulmate is yourself. I believe that there is only one sense of consciousness, and I use the word conscious maybe so much more soul, but this deeper self that we think the other individual is going to help us to tap into is already within us. Love, unconditional love, peace, joy, bliss, all the things we're hoping a relationship will give us are already within us. We may not tap into that experience of love, unconditional love, peace, and joy all the time because we have all these samskaras and this veil of psyche, this idea of who we think we are, in the way of us experiencing who we truly are. And who we truly are is the soul mate that you're looking for. Who you truly are is everything you need. But because you have all these samskaras and this veil of maya, the Buddhists would refer to it as this illusion, this believing that what we're looking at as this drama of little me is all there is, and we're focusing so hard on that we get sucked into the so-called problems of little me, the so-called loneliness of little me, the so-called socially created idea that we need a partner in order to be complete, that we fail to see the true self and fail to see ourselves as the true self, as the soulmate that we need. We don't tap into that experience of love that does not come from another human being. It comes from an opening inside you that allows the Shakti, as the yogis referred to it, this flow of unconditional love to flow through. And we don't experience it because we're blocked and we're hiding under these ideas of who we think we are, rather than falling back and experiencing who we truly are. So our minds, our monkey minds, full of these ideations and beliefs and this conditioning that society passes on to us about how we need another individual. This mind that is full of angst when it's alone because of this conditioning and these thoughts, and we're so focused on this, are not who we are. And the personality is not who we are. So therefore, what we're seeking from the individual is not who they're going to be anyway. So you can have the most perfect person show up in your life on a white horse, if you're a female, or whatever, jumping off and being this perfect, well, Prince Charming, Princess Charming, wherever you're at in your relationship preferences. They could come into your life and you could say, oh my gosh, you're so wonderful. They match everything. They like the same things I like. They don't like the same things I don't like, so they're not going to trigger me as much. They have these dreams and these desires. All this thought-based stuff that we identify at, misidentify as. And they seem to be offering us everything we think we need, and we feel so high because we've opened up. The Shakti somehow moved over, or these blockages of samskara somehow moved over, so the Shakti is flowing through. We feel this wonderful flow of joy. It's actually coming from us, not from them, but we're open now, so we feel that love, that excitement, that enthusiasm, that joy. We feel high, and we attribute all that feeling that we're experiencing to the other person being in our lives. And they could be the most beautiful people in the world, and they could be the most horrid people in the world. But those individuals in your life are not responsible for you opening up to the flow that is inside you. You did it. And they're not responsible for when you close to that flow. When all of a sudden they say something and you say, I didn't know you were like that. I never know you thought that way. And all of a sudden you can feel yourself closing, and maybe they're not the perfect partner you thought they were. Maybe they can't fulfill you in the way you thought they would. And your relationship goes on this rocky ground. You go past the honeymoon period to this reality of facing each other with your own imperfections and perfections, your own flaws, your own stuffed samskaras that are going to start to emerge, and you're going to start triggering each other, and you're going to realize that they cannot make you happy. The only one that can fulfill you is you. And it's self-love, not with a little s, but with a big S, that will take you to this experience of love we get from a soulmate. It's not the person being in your life or not being in your life. So if you're alone right now, seeking a soulmate, desperate to have a soulmate, and even the love attraction and what The Secret has done with it, I don't agree with and all that, because we focus on the superficial things rather than on the experience of living that we could be having, which is much deeper. But even that will tell you that if you really try too hard and you seek a soulmate out of desperation to fill yourself up, you just won't attain what you're going to get. You need to relax and let life take care of it and act as if you already have it, because you already do. You are your soulmate. This love you're seeking, this sense of peace you're seeking, the sense of making things right in your life that you're seeking from the other individual are already within you. You're alone now for a reason. Embrace it. This is a time to look inward, not to seek outward. This is a time to experience life inward, being who you truly are, not what you assume the other person will give you and how you be with the other person. Shut off my... Sorry. Won't shut off. Not what you think you'll be with the other person. So my advice is to, if you want to go with the law of manifestation, you insist on having somebody in your... And there's nothing wrong with having somebody in your life, and there's nothing wrong with wanting another individual and seeking another individual and dating and doing all the things we do. All I'm saying is don't place your expectations for happiness on another individual. It just doesn't work. A special relationship, according to A Course in Miracles, is all about feeding the ego, and you are not your ego. You are not your personality. You are that which exists beyond it. You are the soulmate you're looking for that exists beyond your personality. And your personality is just in the way. Your ego and your ego needs are just in the way. And no one is ever going to be able to give you exactly what you think you need personality-wise either. Everybody comes from their own set of circumstances and variables and life experiences, and they all have their own samskaras stuffed inside them. They have their own triggers, and they're going to do things that are going to trigger yours, and vice versa. And that's just the way relationships work. Having a relationship could be a great foundation for you getting in contact with your soulmate within you too, because they test you and they challenge you and they get you to look inside and realize that, oh, you are not responsible for making me happy. I am. So I have to re-own that and take accountability for that. And I have to do the work on the inside to free these samskaras from my Shushanam or wherever they are, so that this Shakti can flow through me so I can experience unconditional love. It's not about being loved so you feel okay. It's about learning to love because you are love and you will be okay once you are yourself. You are love. You are that love you're looking for in the other individual. And they can't give you, as long as you're on the superficial layer looking, they can't give you what you want. The special relationship doesn't serve your soul, it serves your ego. Now, you're also asking, well, why is life doing this to me? As if life is punishing you by not giving you those things. Life is not here, first of all, to make us happy. It's here to challenge us so we grow. So we learn to go inward and find that soulmate within us, that self-love with a capital S, that we're all entitled to experience and live by. But if you're out there seeking, desperately clinging and clawing for that soulmate in your life, you're not going to experience the opportunity you have right now from being alone. So life is actually giving you an opportunity to reflect inward. Life is giving you an opportunity when you are alone without your so-called soulmate, or you're not in an intimate relationship. Say, okay, this is a time to start making that interrelationship with yourself. Someone may come along, and that's wonderful. But when you are seeking someone else out of need, ego need, it will never fulfill you. But once you tap into the soulmate within you, once you tap into that self-love experience, once you start realizing who you truly are beneath the personality, beneath all this thinking and social conditioning and beliefs in romantic love, you will see that any relationship that comes into your life will be like an added on. Seek thee first the kingdom of heaven and all its righteousness, and all this and more shall be added on. So that means that when we seek this first, the soulmate or the other relationship or the special relationship may come into our lives, but it will be an added on. It won't be that which fulfills us. It will just be that adds to our fulfillment in life and makes life more joyous. It will not be based on need. not based on ego, but based on this knowledge that we are love, and that it is so much more important to express that love by being that love than it is to fill in any so-called ego holes with some romantic notion of love. I know that busts a lot of bubbles, and there's nothing wrong with romantic love, and there's nothing wrong with these intimate relationships, but they're so much more fulfilling when they come from a state of, I know who I am love, than they do from need and lack and scarcity and this idea that life is punishing us by not allowing this to happen. Life is giving you an opportunity now to grow. Use it. Love will come along if it's meant to come along. And it'll be so much more valuable to you when it's not based on ego need and a search for a so-called soulmate to fulfill ego's notion of what relationship should be. Wow, 16 minutes. I really yapped on that time. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have an amazing day. Namaste.